Hey, how's it going? My name is Iso from forageSF, and today I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about what's in your forage box today. So we have porcini mushrooms, which are just beautiful. These are some of the nicest I've ever seen. So part of this video was me showing you how to clean them, but actually they're really clean already. So I'll go through a little bit how to prepare them, how to clean them, but these are amazing already. The next thing you have in here are these fiddleheads, which are just great. And these are pretty clean too, actually. Really nice flavor, look really fresh. I'm really excited about these. That's my cousin's little kid in the background. So we got a little family time, a little COVID time. Right here we have these wild onions, which are really one of my favorite greens. You can think a lot about them. You can think of them a lot like scallions, just kind of like wild scallions. The bulbs are really good, just used in a dish, in a recipe like, you use a scallion. You can also pickle them, which is really cool. And then these flowers are really nice. They're really good on salads, like a nice real like subtle oniony flavor, like not too overpowering. So that's really how I like to use them. So let's start with these porcini, these beautiful little porcini buttons. So often the bottom will have dirt on it. So you just you want to cut that off or wipe it off. Here, as you can see, they're totally clean already. But what I like to do is just take, especially for a small one like this, just take like a wet paper towel or a wet rag. Just kind of wipe them off a little bit. That's totally fine. If you want to, you can wash them under water. Kind of common misconception is that you can't wash wild mushrooms, but it actually doesn't really hurt them. It's just important after to dry saute them because they will suck up a lot of moisture. So these little guys, if you're not going to cook them right away, it's really good to slice them and store them in the fridge because you can have little critters in them sometimes. These do grow in the wild, so no one's putting pesticides on them. That's what's great about them. But the balance there is sometimes you gotta watch out for that. So a way to guard against that is to process them as soon as you get them. So you just want to slice them into little 1/8 inch slices, just little guys like this, and then just put them on a sheet tray. And what you'll do is put those just in the coldest part of your fridge. They can go on a sheet tray, they can go in a paper bag. You never want to put wild mushrooms in a plastic because it'll just make them rot super quick, which is just no fun. You have these beautiful mushrooms and then you go in and they're bad. It's super frustrating. So yeah, you just want to cut those up, put those on there, and then you're kind of good to go on the porcinis. The next step is these wild onions. So again, really think of them like scallions. They're really similar. So you want to wash them under cold running water. Just the bulbs here. Just kind of get all the dirt off there. The bulbs are really good, so if you want to slice the bulbs and actually pickle them, so as you can see, what I do is cut off the root there and just cut them off like that. They're really good pickled. What I usually like to do for a pickle like this is a 4-to-1 ratio. So 4 parts water, 2 parts vinegar, 1 part sugar. And just boil that mixture and pour it over the raw vegetable. And those will last in your fridge, kind of forever, in my experience, but you probably want to eat them in a couple months. For the stock of it, just really do think of it like a scallion. One of the recipes I included in the email was like garlic cream fried wild onions. That's a really good way to do them. You really taste the flavor in that. It doesn't get lost, which is really nice. These guys are really beautiful, and you shouldn't waste them. These are little wild onion flowers. What I like to do is put them in a salad. A good way to make sure they don't go bad, to make them last longer than they normally would, because they are really delicate. I like to make a little kind of like humidor, if you will, which is, I take like a quart container, like a deli container, or a Tupperware is totally fine. And I put a damp paper towel on the bottom, throw the flowers on top, and then put a dry paper towel on top, and then seal the container. So what that does is like keeps them, it still gives them moisture, but it won't make them, you know, it'll stop them from wilting so quick. And for any flower, you can really do that. So like for nasturtium flowers, that's really good. I can't think of any other flowers right now, but that's a really good option for these. If you do at the top of these, if you have little bulbs, the little buds, like it hasn't quite flowered yet, and you have it almost looks like a little caper, you can kind of pickle them in the same way you would capers. Again, you can do that same pickle recipe I was talking about before, the 4-2-1. Just pour that hot liquid over it, let it sit for a couple days, and you kind of get this nice like oniony, vinegary punch. It's really, really delicious. The next thing we have here are these here fiddleheads, which are baby ferns and are really delicious and don't need to be cleaned too much. But as you can see, there's like a little bit of this like brown leaf on here. You don't really want that. So what I like to do is just dunk them in cold water. So I just put them in cold water, kind of mix them around a little bit, and actually lift them out. And you'll see the kind of the leaves and the kind of the gross green part will still be in, the brown part will be in there. Don't rub them too much, or you'll rub all the leaves off. You don't want to rub all the leaves out of the coil here, because that's like a really delicious part of it. What you can do too before you prepare them is just cut off this little brown part at the bottom. You know, you got a nice little fresh little button. Will taste like spring. Super delicious. Next, I will show you how to cook the porcinis. So I'm going to show you how to do a dry saute on the mushrooms, which is really good for any wild mushroom. Because often when you're washing it, or if it's kind of just coming out of the woods, they'll have a lot of moisture in them, which isn't bad. But what dry sauteing does is it really concentrates the flavor. So dry sauteing is essentially just sauteing with no fat. So no butter, no oil or anything. And I'll show you how to do that right now. And then I think we stop it.